Welcome to Science, Health and Healing Encyclopedia of Children's Health Core and Ali Academy. I'm Dr. Majid Ali. The subject of this article is 9/11 Events and Cancer Part 2. In Part 1, I described how I wrote my book, September 11, 2005, a book of predictions written in a fictionalized past tense because I wanted to clearly predict what would be the health consequences of the terror and toxicity of the apocalypse of September 11, 2001. In June of 2012, 11 years later, the government officials decided to include compensation for people who developed cancer who were exposed to the chemicalization, toxic dust, and the carcinogens released in the air on 9/11, 2001. Now, New York City is a city of litigators. New York City is a city of compensation specialists. I think it is the world capital of distortions when it comes to compensation. And the main reason for this is that for every $100 awarded to the victim, sometimes 1/3 or even 1/2 goes to the lawyers one way or the other. So you can guess for yourself how much of the money which will be awarded to the victims of various illnesses which were triggered or intensified or perpetuated, including the development of precancerous and cancerous changes in the various populations of the cellular populations of the body by the toxicities and terrors of 9/11. And indeed, that is exactly what has happened. Now, my main point of asserting holism and focusing on preventive aspects, as everyone can tell, was completely rejected by the medical profession. The doctors, in fact, protested that these are psychosomatic problems and they should not be medicalized. That's a direct quote from the New England Journal of Medicine. So as I reflect on 11 years, the message of my book, what I think every intelligent, environmentally enlightened physician foresaw that day was that the cumulative injury of terror and toxicity will affect the cellular populations in all parts of the body at all levels, at the levels of mitochondria, at the levels of structures within the cells, at the levels of cell membranes, at the levels of the matrix. And these events eventually will create acidity, free radicalization, interfere with oxygen metabolism, and they will set the stage for beginning of the disease. I define disease as, first, a state of separation from oneself, and two, a state of evolution in reverse. In other words, the high efficiency respiratory human metabolism will be degraded to fermentative. Simply stated, human cell would be yeastized. And of course, the fundamental cause of cancer is exactly that. Regression, oxidative regression to a fermentative metabolism. Translation, there is reversal of evolution. We developed from the fermentating ancestors, our cellular ancestors, to our modern human cells, and the 9/11 events will cause a reversal of that direction. So it would be evolution in reverse. Now, focusing on cancer, since cancer first and foremost is a problem of oxygen, and since all the toxicities and terrors of that day eventually caused serious disruption of oxygen metabolism, not only in the rescue workers or the fire workers or the police or the children who were in the schools in close vicinity of ground zero, but for miles around, because the winds will take these toxins wherever they will go. So regrettably, all those serious considerations were missed by the city officials, by the federal officials, and I foresaw the litigation. So now when in June of 2012, the government says that we are going to compensate for these people, the epidemiologists are saying, but there is no clear evidence that those events caused cancer, which I foresaw that that's what they would do. They would say, no, they didn't cause atypical sinusitis or pneumonias or emphysema or immune problems like sarcoidosis, and everything came to pass. Now, looking forward, a lot of money would be wasted in litigation. The funds which are allocated by the federal government will mostly end up either with the doctors who are drugging these people. Well, first they will end up with the lawyers, then they will end up with drug doctors, then they will end up with these hospitals which are maintaining these registries. One nurse who worked at a famous New York City University hospital told me, oh, Dr. Ali, they are just monitoring, they are registering and monitoring those people to illness and many of them to death. Please watch the other 3 segments of this 5-segment series on 9/11 events and cancer for a fuller picture. Forward this YouTube segment to your contacts. That's one way you can support our vision of providing free, authentic information for people all over the world, without any corporate deceptions, without any ideological distortions. Visit the website kids123.org, kids123.org. That is the official website of Children's Health Corps, and we suggest how you can participate in our effort. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much.